In a big win for protesters in Hong Kong, the government has suspended a proposed law on extradition to mainland China, succumbing in fact to the ongoing protest. Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam, a supporter of the bill, admitted that there were in fact issues in the legislation. Protesters have refused to retreat from the streets, demanding a complete withdrawal of the controversial bill. A black march has been planned for today by civil rights activists to keep up the pressure until the legislation was entirely, in fact, got rid of. Dozens of Palestinians took to the streets in Ramallah on Saturday. They were protesting against a US-sponsored Mid-East peace conference which will focus on the Palestinian economy. The White House in May had announced a Peace for Prosperity, in fact, conference to bring back together business and government leaders for Middle East, Europe and Asia. The conference is to take place in fact, Manama on 25th and 26th June. As per officials, the conference will not include core political issues like the final Palestine-Israel borders and status of Jerusalem. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shataya has in fact already said that any American peace plan which ignores the aspirations of Palestinians is doomed to fail. Conservative leadership and Prime Ministerial candidate Roy Stewart has said on Saturday that Boris Johnson is front runner in the race to succeed UK Prime Minister Theresa May needs to talk to the public. The comment comes after fellow party members accused Johnson of not being open to debate as he refused to take part in one on Saturday, in fact organised by Channel 4 television. Johnson has later confirmed he will take to the debate hosted by the BBC on Tuesday after the second ballot in the leadership contest. The US has doubled the number of asylum seekers it sends back each day to Mexico from El Paso, Texas. This is the first sign of action following a deal struck to avert US tariffs last week. Under pressure from US President Donald Trump, Mexico agreed on June 7 to expand the program known as the Migrant Protection Protocols or Remain in Mexico, which forces mostly Central American asylum seekers arriving at the US southern border to await the outcome of the US asylum claims in Mexico. The new entry requirements took effect on the Peru-Venezuela border from Saturday. Riot police began guarding Peru's northern border to ensure only Venezuelans carrying a passport and humanitarian visa could enter. New requirements took effect as thousands of Venezuelans migrate to Peru, evading economic crisis at home. Peruvian President Martin Vizcarra has said that new rules will make immigration safer and more orderly. Human rights groups have, though, criticized the move. Chinese President Xi Jinping received the Order of the Crown, Tajikistan's highest decoration, from Tajik President Emomali Rahmon in fact on Saturday. During the ceremony held at the Presidential Palace, Rahmon spoke highly of Xi's positive contributions to the development of Tajikistan-China relations, saying he is ready to work together with Xi to guide bilateral relations toward greater achievements. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris hosted its first Mass after the devastating blaze on Saturday. This was exactly 2 months after a devastating fire at the cathedral had shocked the world. Though the Mass was celebrated on a very small scale, worshippers wore hard hats, whereas in fact priests wore ceremonial garbs as protection to possible debris. A huge fire had occurred at Cathedral on the 15th of April. 16 June was chosen to restart prayers since it is the anniversary of the consecration of the cathedral's altar. Anniversary celebrated every year.
Au nom du Père, du Fils et du Saint-Esprit, vous. L'Eucharistie qui va être célébrée pour montrer que, voilà, je reconnais devant mes frères que j'ai...
Hundreds of Yellow Vest protesters gathered at Paris's Bastille Square on Saturday for the 31st round of demonstrations. Demonstrators are now more than 6 months into the demonstrations against President Emmanuel Macron and high living costs. Now, though the number of demonstrators rose slightly last week across France, they remain well below earlier peaks seen in November and December, with an estimated 300,000 took to the streets in Saturday's protests. A German pilot of a small stunt plane was killed on Saturday after his plane crashed into the Vistula River in Poland. The plane dived 26 feet deep into the river during a performance at an air show. This happened after the pilot apparently lost control of the plane during the, air picnic in Plock, which features some 40 pilots. Pilot's body and the jet's wreck have been recovered from the river. Police are further investigating the cause of the accident. 8 people were killed and 16 got injured in the blast that took place in Somali capital. Islamist insurgents detonated 2 bombs in the Somali capital of Mogadishu on Saturday. Jihadist group Al-Shabaab has already claimed responsibility for the blast. A separate incident on Saturday, a roadside bomb hit a vehicle patrolling near Kenya's border with Somalia, killing several of the 11 police officers on board. India has retaliated to U.S. tariffs. It has imposed tariffs on 28 American products. A custom duties that came into effect today has affected American imports, including almonds and walnuts. Custom duties will bring India an additional revenue of $217 million. However, the move is expected to increase trade tensions between New Delhi and Washington. This comes after the U.S. dropped the preferential trade status for India earlier this month. Amit Shah and his ministry has constituted a new terror monitoring group with the additional DGP of J&K CID as its chairman. The body also has representatives from the Intelligence Bureau, the NIA and CBI. The group will take coordinated action in terror cases, including that of terror financing. They will also identify leaders of organizations supporting terror groups in the state and take the necessary steps against them. Lastly, the anti-terror group will also take action against government employees who are supporting, in fact, the terrorist groups as well. The latest on if India's doctors' protest, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has accepted agitating doctors' demands as she has now asked them to return to work. The Bengal Chief Minister said that she did not get any doctors arrested and also heeded their demands from day one. But medical staff has been refusing to meet her. Meanwhile, the resident doctors at AIIMS, New Delhi, have called off their protest to return to work. Strikes came after 2 doctors were attacked by the relatives of a patient who died at the NRS Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata. Modi chaired a meeting of the Niti Aayog Governing Council, the first meeting after his return to power. The meeting was held at the Rashtrapati Bhavan and attended by chief ministers of various states and union territories. Prime Minister Modi reiterated the Niti Aayog's role in fulfilling his mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. He said that the governance system was now characterized by performance, transparency and delivery. He also put forward the goal of making India a $5 trillion economy by 2024. The death toll rises to 73 in the outbreak of acute encephalitis attacks in Bihar. The deadly disease has claimed the lives of 6 more children on Saturday. Health Minister Harshvardhan said that centre is constantly monitoring the situation and supporting the state health authorities in managing the crisis. The minister will visit at the affected areas today. Cyclone VAYU, which had earlier caused heavy rains and generated high-speed winds along the western coast of India, might return. And this time, it could make a landfall in Gujarat. The cyclone VAYU might recurve and hit the coast of Kutch, according to an official from the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Now, if the update holds true, then the cyclone is likely to hit the coast tomorrow, though with a reduced intensity. Austrian capital Vienna hosted the Euro Pride parade on Saturday. The parade, in fact, is part of the Gay Pride Month, which puts forward their rights of LGBTQ community. The event showed out, in fact, the diversity and also highlighted the discrimination that people belonging to this community face. The parade also sought to send a clear message against the racism and homophobia that still exists. Animals at the Bioparco Zoo in Rome are being fed ice pops to stay cold during the strong heat wave. The zoo staff froze fruits and meat into ice treats for some of the animals, like tigers and, in fact, other animals. Frozen meals also make the animals do a bit of work to get their food, helping their mind and overall health. The heat wave in Rome is expected to continue into next week, with predictions as high as 36 degrees Celsius being made. Santos Poma takes great pride and joy in being a dancer in Bolivia's traditional Morenada dance, honoring the Christ of the Great Power, a devotional statue at a local Catholic church. Wearing shiny white costumes and masks, dancers represent African slaves who worked in Bolivia's silver mines. The festival in Bolivia began in the early 20th century to venerate an image of Christ, which was first made popular in 1663.